They fired me after 70 years, no warning. Clear your desk by end of day, my manager said, eyes cold. But I knew what they didn't, and by Wednesday they would pay. I'm Jake Wilson, 54 years old, senior systems analyst at Meridian Technologies, Columbus, Ohio. For nearly 2 decades, I was the IT backbone, from dial-up to cloud. 3 CEOs came and went. I stayed, trained every new hire, recovered every lost file, worked weekends, holidays, never asked for promotion or praise. Monday, Daniel called me into his office. Vanessa from HR was already seated. I knew before he spoke. The air had shifted weeks ago. I understand, I nodded, left without anger, without begging, just quiet confirmation. Back at my desk, the young coders glanced at me, then dropped their eyes to their screens. News travels fast. They were the kids I trained, talented, but clueless about legacy architecture or the systems I'd built. No one knew the admin passwords, buried 3 layers deep. I packed up a family photo, a mug my son made, a cactus that survived 17 years under fluorescent lights. Bethany from marketing stopped by, her face tense. Jake, this is insane. You built this place. I shrugged. Companies changing direction. No warning. After everything, she raised her voice. Heads turned. It's all right, I said quietly. Not true. But I didn't make noise. As I walked out, Daniel stood watching. No goodbye, no handshake, just surveillance. They didn't know I was the most important person in that building. Not because I was brilliant, because I was thorough. I documented everything. I built the audit protocols after the old security scandal. Legal required it. A copy was in my car. I sat behind the wheel, stared up at the 12-story building, the place where I grew up as the company grew. Security badge turned in. I'd had 16 replacements over the years. I started the car, drove home. Wednesday would be interesting. I joined Meridian when it was just 2 floors in an industrial park. Olivia, my daughter, was in preschool. Now she's finishing her master's. The company grew. So did I. I turned down better offers because loyalty for me was real. Andrea, my wife, used to joke the servers were my second family. She wasn't wrong. I knew every system, every shortcut, every quiet fix management never noticed. The infrastructure I built survived 3 acquisitions and a dozen failed management initiatives. Daniel became manager 5 years ago, young MBA type, called us IT resources, not people. He used words like future-proofing in meetings and looked right through me. 6 months ago, he hired Jason Phillips, expensive suit, firm handshake, Stanford degree on LinkedIn. They whispered in conference rooms, went silent when I walked in. 3 months ago, my admin privileges were quietly restricted. Not obvious, just a few subtle locks. I could have objected. Instead, I watched and recorded. Andrea noticed one night on the porch. You've been distant. Work okay? I sipped my beer. Just changes, old story. But this time was different. I was cut out of meetings. System upgrade emails no longer had my name. Then I saw it, a company memo. IT restructuring, new leadership, Jason Phillips. My name wasn't on the chart. During a routine security scan, a task no one bothers with anymore, I noticed irregular payments in the financial software. Apex Solutions Group, new vendor. The address, a UPS store. The payments were small, but growing. I didn't speak. I backed up the data. I watched. The quiet guy in the corner sees everything, summarized, because no one thinks he's watching. The morning after I was fired, I sat in my home office, personal laptop in front of me. No alarm clock, no commute, just silence and the weight of yesterday. Andrea brought me coffee, set it beside me without a word. After 19 years, she knew when I needed space. I'm heading to the store, she said. Need anything? I shook my head. She left. I opened the locked drawer, pulled out a USB drive, one of several safe-kept copies. Company policy banned data removal, but years ago, legal mandated internal threat audits. I proposed off-site backups. They approved. Then forgot. I plugged it in, pulled up internal emails, meeting notes, financial records regular employees never see. Apex Solutions Group, $1.8 million over 18 months, approved by CFO Brian Wilcox. I compared dates, figures, the payments matched software license renewals, but inflated by 15 to 20%. Not enough to trigger alarms, enough to accumulate. Apex was registered to Thomas Wilcox, Brian's brother-in-law, found through social media. They were siphoning money through fake markup, real contracts. I leaned back, not angry, colder, sharper. 17 years, I patched systems, protected data, was reliable, invisible. They tossed me like obsolete hardware. Phone buzzed. Steven, an analyst I trained. Text, yesterday was brutal. Phillips already took your office. I put the phone down. The final piece clicked. Daniel and Brian needed me out. Before I connected the dots, they thought I was just an old tech who didn't understand modern finance. I opened an email window, started to write the board, then paused. Too direct would sound bitter, easy to dismiss. I needed leverage, precise, undeniable. Deleted the draft, built a plan. Wednesday, board meeting, quarterly finances, bonus approvals. Perfect timing. Wednesday morning, I parked across from Meridian HQ, watched employees stream through the revolving doors, laptop in passenger seat, logged into a dummy internal email, created long ago for testing, still active, still unmonitored. 9:15 a.m., I sent an email to Daniel, subject, financial irregularities, urgent review. Summary of Apex, enough facts to be credible, but omitted the brother-in-law link. If Daniel was involved, he'd panic. If not, he'd investigate. Either way, I'd know. 9:45, Daniel called. I let it ring, checked voicemail. Jake, call me back immediately. This is about your email. I didn't call. I drove to a coffee shop, set up the laptop, waited. 10:30, Vanessa from HR emailed, Mr. Wilson, your outreach violates severance terms. Cease contact with Meridian employees or legal action will follow. Intimidation, isolation. But I hadn't signed anything. At noon, I visited the bank, opened my safety deposit box. Inside, archived protocols I'd designed, logs showing who accessed the system and when. Brian had requested expanded financial access. The same week Apex payments began, 18 months ago. Back home, 3 missed calls. Daniel, Vanessa, Jason Phillips. Phillips was in early. That surprised me. Steven sent an urgent email. Jake, they said you sent a crazy fraud email. Phillips is in a closed meeting. They locked out your access, even history. What's going on? I replied simply, don't get involved, Steven. Just watch. 3 p.m. Home phone rang. Only a few people have that number. I picked up, silent. Jake, Brian Wilcox, his voice calm. We should talk about your concerns. There's been a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I asked. Transition periods are messy, he said. If you have questions about finances, go through the board channels. I cut in. The board will love Apex and your brother-in-law. He inhaled sharply. You're making a serious mistake. We can fix this. Generous settlement, reference letter. Goodbye, Brian, I said, and hung up. 10 minutes later, Vanessa emailed, the settlement doubled, attached a strict non-disclosure agreement. They panicked, thinking I was just trying to blackmail them. They had no idea what was coming. That night, I went through the data again, followed trails they thought were buried. Apex wasn't Brian's first creation. 3 years ago, as CFO, he launched another company, Lakeside Business Solutions. Fake invoices for fake services, registered under his wife's name, Patricia Wilcox. No website, no employees, a virtual mailbox. Archived emails revealed more. Daniel didn't just know, he helped. In return, his department's budget grew. He got placed there because the last director had started asking questions about IT spending. Jason Phillips was in it too. His consultancy was hired without bids through a shady approval path. His real job? Remove me, the one who could see the fraud. Their scheme was simple, elegant. Create fake vendors, approve inflated invoices, split the difference. The services were real. The prices were fake. Auditors missed it. No glaring red flags. In 3 years, they siphoned off nearly $4.3 million. I compiled everything. Spreadsheets, business registrations, emails proving Daniel's knowledge. Then I did what they never expected. I reached out to Robert Chen, board member, once my colleague. I called him. Robert, I need 15 minutes. It's important. Been a while, Jake, he said. Heard you left Meridian? Not by choice, I replied. I have something the board should see. An hour later, in a park 3 miles from HQ, I handed him a sealed envelope. Printed summary, USB drive. Everything's here, I said. Dates, amounts, connections. I don't want my old job. I don't want money. I just want the right people to know. Robert looked at me. Why me? You read the audit reports, I said. I saw you ask questions in meetings. He nodded. Board meets tomorrow. Financials on the agenda. Good timing, Jake. That afternoon, Jason Phillips showed up at my house, said it was urgent. Andrea sent him away. He's not here. They were desperate. Good. That night, I used access they hadn't revoked thanks to Jason's sloppy IT transition. I got into the email server, scheduled an email, 8 a.m. sharp to every board member, full report attached. Friday morning, I sat on my porch, coffee in hand, watching the neighborhood wake up. 8 a.m., the email detonated. By 8:17, my phone buzzed, unknown number. Board assistant, I let it ring. 9:32, text from Steven. Cops are here, Brian and Daniel being questioned. Phillips looks sick. What did you do? I didn't reply. The wheels were turning, just as I planned. 10 a.m., General Counsel Patricia Graves called. Mr. Wilson, we need you to come in immediately to discuss the information you sent the board. You reached me, I said. Everything I know is in the report, backed up in multiple secure locations. If anything happens to me or my family, SEC, IRS, and 3 news outlets get more. Silence. The board is taking this seriously, she finally said. 3 directors have been suspended. Investigation is underway. I've cooperated, I said. My part's done. I drove out toward Columbus, a small diner, somewhere they wouldn't find me. By noon, the news broke. Meridian Technologies executives under fraud investigation. 2 p.m., Robert called. Blood spilled, Jake. Brian confessed when faced with the evidence. He blamed Daniel for pressure. Daniel denies it. Phillips says he was just consulting. The board's not buying it. Forensic accountants start Monday. Estimated loss, $4.5 million and climbing. Then came the unexpected. The board wanted me back. Not just my old job. They offered something new. Chief Information Security Officer, reporting directly to the board. That night, I told Andrea everything. She listened. Then asked, what do you want? A good question. Justice had come, cold, precise. But go back to the place that tossed me out after 17 years? Could I? Did I want to? I need time, I said. That night I posted on LinkedIn, don't burn bridges, let them collapse under the weight of greed. Former colleagues reached out, word spread fast. The IT guy took down 3 directors, quietly. Monday morning, I walked into HQ, wore a suit I rarely touched. Security printed a guest badge. Voice respectful. Welcome back, Mr. Wilson. Elevator rose to the executive floor, a place I'd never seen. The board waited. Robert gave me a nod. Interim CEO, formerly the COO, looked uncomfortable. Mr. Wilson, she began, what you've exposed is unprecedented. Forensic audit shows $5.2 million withdrawn, criminal charges imminent. I said nothing. Robert cleared his throat. Jake, the board unanimously agreed to create a new role. CSO, with executive authority, reporting only to us. We want you to take it. I placed a folder on the table. My terms, non-negotiable. She opened it. Brows arched. Audit rights over all departments. Independent budget. Veto power over financial tech. Unusual, she said. So is $5.2 million in fraud, I replied. It happened because no one was watching. Now someone will. The room went still. By noon, I said, standing. I have other offers. At 11:47, they called, accepted every condition. 6 months later, my corner office overlooked the Columbus skyline. Brian pled guilty, reduced sentence. Daniel fought it. Phillips fled to Brazil, now being extradited. Most of the money was recovered. The company survived intact. My old team reported to me, but I let Steven handle daily ops. He had promise, just needed someone to see it. Andrea dropped by, smiled. Lunch? I grabbed my jacket, walked through the IT floor. Voices paused, not out of fear, out of respect. They knew I could have brought the company down, but I saved it. In the elevator, Andrea took my hand. Are you happy? The anger was gone. What remained was peace and purpose. I'm okay, I said. Outside, October sunlight was warm. My phone buzzed. Text from Robert, board approved, increased security, but unanimous. I smiled, put the phone away. Think about bridges, I told Andrea. Some collapse from greed, some we rebuild, stronger than before. I rebuilt this one, the right way. Being erased wasn't the end, it was a beginning, if you know what you hold. I chose to keep building, not for the company, but for the systems no one sees that keep everything standing. What would you choose?